I'm Solara. I'm going to be doing a Pilates class for you guys today about the neck, shoulders, and upper back. So most of us have experienced tension, pain, discomfort in that area, and all of this is going to be really helpful and good for that. So let's just start. You just want to have a nice, comfortable mat. You want to have room around you so you're not going to hit anything if you stretch out, because we're going to be moving ourselves in a kind of, you want to sweep your arms like you're making an angel in the snow, and then you'll know you have enough room. So go ahead and begin just laying on your back. You're going to have your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor. You want to feel your hips just resting in neutral. So you're not tucking and lifting your tail up, and you're not letting your tail drop down to where you're overarching, but that little arch of your lower back is there floating. We don't need to press our lower back into the ground, which sometimes we're taught, oh, press your lower back down, that arch is bad. But that arch is just natural, and you want to let it float there, so you're neutral. To begin, reach your arms up to the ceiling. And feel like there's some energy reaching through each of your fingers, so you don't have these floppy, dead hands, but they're energized. Now the right arm will reach up, the shoulder will kind of reach off the floor, and then you can plop it back down. And then the left. These are called shoulder slaps. So there's a couple ways to do it. You can reach and drop, like I'm doing now. Or you can reach and then carefully place it down, using more control in both directions. You can play around and figure out which way you like. Inhale, reach. Exhale, drop. Is a nice way to breathe, so you can release the shoulder down. But just breathe. Don't worry about breathing properly to the point that you're not breathing. Reach, drop, one more. Great, now let both reach and both drop. You want to move your shoulder blades wide, and then let your chest go wide. Letting the arm, shoulder blade, and the collarbones all move. Now, a note about this. Go ahead and let yourself rest. I'm going to let you see if I reach so far that my neck begins to pinch. I don't need to go that far. Just moving as far as it feels good to the shoulder, not heading into where you begin to torque into your neck. So those arms have reached and dropped. Now we're going to let them float back over our head towards the floor behind us, keeping the ribs stable. And then I'm going to float them back up. And just do this a couple times. Let yourself breathe. It doesn't matter. Inhale for one part. And exhale. As you exhale, you can deepen the belly and kind of think of your belly like a corset, holding your ribs still. So when the arms go back, the ribs don't pop up and extend. You keep everything still, but your arm kind of moves in the socket like a Barbie doll arm. Everyone has seen a Barbie doll arm. So just visualize that one last time, moving the bone of your arm in the socket of your shoulder, and leaving your spine and your ribs easy. Great. Now we're going to let our arms rest. You can rest your hands on your belly, or you can rest your arms down by your sides. I prefer you not bring your arms back over your head, which will lead to some extension through the ribs and the upper back, which is fine, but we don't want that right now. So what we're going to do is give yourself a moment to just let your weight settle, neck and head and shoulders dropping down into the floor. And you may have been told in your life to pull your shoulders in, or to pull your chest open, or to do something to have good posture. But right now you're lying on the ground, so you don't need to do anything for good posture other than relax. So if you find yourself thinking you should pull your shoulders down your back, go ahead and just let that go. Don't bother. So that's going to give your shoulders tension, and we want to let them go into the ground, back into the floor, just in an easy way. Now my nose, I'm going to imagine drawing a small circle. circling. It's very small and easy. And you want to make sure if you have long hair, your hair is not bunched up behind your head, making it impossible to move. That's why I put such a high thing on the top of my head, so my hair is not impeding my neck. Reverse your circle. Your skull is resting heavy. You're getting a rotation of your skull around the top of your spine. It's a very small circle. It doesn't have to be any bigger than feels good. And then go ahead and find the center again. And then really small and easy, just rotate like you want to look over to the right. Rotate to the center. Rotate to the left. Look. And do this a few times. Again, breathing as you want to. And don't crank the movement so big that it doesn't feel nice. Just keep letting things have a fluidity. And see how far can I turn without it starting to feel uncomfortable. And then let's stay in the center. Now we're going to do something to strengthen the front of the neck. So a lot of times when we're doing exercises, we're told, oh, don't feel your neck, you won't feel your neck, never feel your neck. Well, your neck is made of muscles, and muscles are connected to nerves, so you will feel your neck. It's not a bad thing to feel your neck, but you want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And we need strength here in the front of our necks. So most of us are tight in the back of the neck, and we want to stretch the back of the neck and massage it. But that can just be a never-ending loop, and what we need is strength in the front, so the back of the neck doesn't have to work so hard. So sure, stretch your neck, get a massage for your neck, but you also need to strengthen it. So that's exactly what this little exercise is for. So you want to keep it small and easy, and you're going to feel these muscles, but you don't want to feel like you're choking or gripping or squeezing hard. You should be able to talk and swallow while you do any of these we're going to do right here. So the first part is just tucking the chin to the chest without picking the head up out of the ground. And then releasing. So right now my head is, let's call this neutral for my head. My chin is kind of at a resting place. My nose is pointing to the ceiling mostly. Now my chin is going to draw down towards my chest. My nose is going to arc toward my knees. And then I release it. And there's definitely a limit to how far I can go. And as my chin goes down, I want to let my shoulder blades relax. Because the upper back needs to spread and lengthen and widen for my neck to stretch in the back and strengthen in the front. So the upper back kind of softens and spreads out. Do not keep your shoulders fixed in place thinking they should stay down. When my chin goes down, my shoulders need to go up because they're connected, like a little seesaw. Now, that can be enough for many, many people. If you have neck problems, if this doesn't feel good, if you don't want to make it more intense, just do that part. And you only want to do maybe like 3 to 6 of them. So you don't really need to do too many because these are small muscles and you don't want to overwork them. If you overwork these muscles, you'll feel quite sore, a little like a very low-grade whiplash. So don't give yourself low-grade whiplash. Just a little bit with consistency will strengthen that. You don't want to do a big neck workout. Nobody needs that. So if you want more range of motion, more strengthening, you're going to start the same. But then you keep going and you see, can I lift my head? And I'm really only curling my head. Chin is going down, head is curling up. And then I want to roll back down. What I don't want to do is try to do so much it becomes a sit-up something where I'm curling down, lowering my back. I really just want to think of my skull getting to tilt to where maybe the top of my head is pointing to the ceiling, my nose is pointing toward the wall in front of me, my chin is dropped to my chest. And I try to roll back down like I want to put the vertebrae of my neck into the floor. This is impossible to do, but let's do one last time. And imagine the vertebrae of your neck trying to go down into the floor before they curl away. Chin goes down, the head is on the ground, and then it's not on the ground, but you're trying to send your neck into the ground. Back of the neck goes back, so the front of the throat can jump, and then I come back down. And then relax. So those are intense. Make a couple circles after. Easy circles to just kind of loosen it. Both directions. And then let yourself find center and rest a moment. Great. Those, I would say, probably only 3 to 5 of that lifting. So let's call it a chin tuck. And then a head lift. All these Pilates exercises and pre-Pilates exercises and range of motion exercises, they all have 87 different names. So you can call it whatever you want, but whatever will make it make sense and help you remember it. The chin nod, head stays down. The head lift starts with the chin nod, and the head follows, but not the shoulders, not the upper back. You don't really want to feel your ribs changing. So now let's go ahead and let's move our lower body just a moment so it's not feeling stiff and neglected. So let your hands rest by your hips. Just rock your tail up out of that neutral into the coccyx curl and then roll back down. Just a little easy rocking and rolling. And my belly's pulling, but something needs to push. So I want to push with my feet. The bottom of my feet gently meet the floor, so I don't have to squeeze my butt or clench my legs to get this action. To curl, I need leverage, so my feet will push and then my belly really pulls, deepening in. And then I'm going to continue that path, tucking and then rolling the spine up a bit. Never roll so high that you feel weight going into your neck. Then I'm going to roll back down. And as I do this action, I want to feel like I'm pressing my feet down, pulling my belly in, and I'm rounding the back of my spine. I'm trying to bring my pubic bone to my breastbone, so the back of me is long. Not a yoga bridge where I've extended the back, a Pilates bridge where I've flexed the back. And I'm vertebrae by vertebrae, working my way through. Just one last time. Rolling vertebrae by vertebrae up. Keeping that weight in the shoulders and never the neck. Rolling back down, just getting movement. Not trying to be too picky about perfection. Great. Now, give your legs a moment to lengthen out. Point your toes and then flex your heels. And point your whole foot and ankle. Flex your whole foot and ankle. Imagine your foot articulating and your ankle articulating, rolling through like the chain of events like your spine had. The ankle, the toes, they all articulate. Great. And then kind of fix your heel. Let it be just kind of dug into the ground. And then very loosely, easy, you're just pointing and flexing just enough to create a rock. Rocking your body against the ground with gravity. And there's just as much effort required to get the action and no more. Just feel loose. Rock. You'll notice your head moves a little bit in that kind of nod action. Just try to feel the movement through your whole spine. Shoulders flopping, easy. And then relax that and flop everything into gravity. Now, spread your feet just a little bit wider than the outside of your hips, and then turn them in and out, rocking in and out. Toes point toward each other and then apart, in and out, in and out. Again, bony, heavy rocking. Only use as much muscles as you need to get those bones moving in the socket. Just getting some blood flow, some fluid in the joints of your hips. And then drag your feet in and hug your knees to your chest. Just take a few breaths here. If it feels good, you can rock your knees in and out. When my knees come in, my tail will curl. I do not want to keep that neutral. fixed. I'm creating space in the hip joint and in the lower back. So as my knees get closer to my chest, my tail will curl away from the floor. You can also rock your knees side to side and play with the idea that if you're going side to side, you're moving your legs in their hip sockets rather than rocking your body side to side. You know, and that's not wrong, but what rocking your legs in their socket space side to side is going to do will be give your hips some more mobility. And that won't happen when you rock your whole body. And if you want to rock your whole body a little bit, go for it. But if you want that juicy mobility in your hips, moving your knees and letting your thigh bones go side to side in the socket will give you an action we rarely do, which is very good for our hips. So go ahead and get your feet back down. And now we're going to do a little bit more for our neck and our upper back. And one of these is a stretch and one of these is a strengthening maneuver. And you know, you can think of it as a sit-up, but I prefer to think of it as an upper back movement. So the first part is a stretch. Lace your fingers, make a cradle for the base of your skull. Your thumbs should be kind of at the hairline. Your hands are cradling the weight of your skull. Bring your elbows and point them more toward the ceiling. If your elbows are too wide, your shoulder blades are going to pinch together and then the mobility of your upper back is inhibited. We want to get mobility back there. So I'm using my hands and my arms to lift my head and stretch my neck. I'm taking that action of that head lift, that chin dropping down, skull curling up. But instead of a neck exercise, I want it to be a purely passive movement. My hands and my arms are doing the work to pull my chin to my chest. It's not a sit-up. I didn't really change my ribs. And then you're going to bring it down. And when you come down, you can rest your elbows open again if it feels good. If not, keep them pointed wherever they want to stay. Let's do one more time. Just notice how the hands move the head, then the neck. Keep the upper back unchanged on the mat. It's not a sit-up. Neutral pelvis, neutral ribs. Now roll that head back down. Keeping the feeling that the hands are helping the head. Hands give the neck and head assistance. Now we are going to keep curling. I curl my chin to my chest. Then I let my neck and head curl, and I want to curl vertebrae by vertebrae through my upper back until I've tucked my ribs in. But I don't want to tuck my tail up. Keep a neutral pelvis, but curl that upper back up. Maybe you get to the bottom of your shoulder blades, but maybe not, and then roll back down. And this is kind of a sit-up, but we're focusing on the movement of the spine being fluid vertebrae by vertebrae. Rounding up, feeling the lower ribs fold, but don't let your lower back press itself down to the ground. Keep looking at your pubic bone and see that your hips are folding and your pubic bone is flat. If your pubic bone is popping up, you need to put your butt back down. And let's just do it 4 more. Exhale, curling. Try to feel vertebrae by vertebrae. Don't think of clenching your abs. Do not tighten your abs. Do not really do much of anything to your abs other than breathe. Breathe out. Curl. Hands help. Move that upper back. Curling it. And then laying it down. Last time, just let your breath move out. Let your belly fall out of the way so you can move that upper back. Great. And then relax. If I think of tightening or squeezing my muscles, that inhibits movement. And this is a movement. I'm moving my upper back. So there's no reason to clench, squeeze, tighten, grip. Don't tighten your abs unless someone's thrown something at you. You don't need to tighten your abs. There are times where you might need to really engage them because you're doing a super big thing like lift something heavy. But if you're just doing a movement, you want to get movement. So that sense of ease, these are doing their job. which is moving your spine. So there's no feeling of clenching, which might be a new ab feeling for you. So if it feels like you're not working your abs hard enough, just go with that for now. We're going to have another class where we work our abs hard, so you can do that. And today you can just let your neck and upper back have a lovely time. So now you're going to lie on your side. Lying on the side can be problematic if you don't like having your head kind of flopped down. For me, it doesn't bother me, but if you need something under your head, get a towel. You can fold it as much as you need. And I would have it wide enough, kind of like a pillow, or you can get a pillow. So when you're turning your body, your head won't be flopping on and off. You don't want a tiny thing there. I'm just going to let mine flop. Now my bottom arm is going to stay on the ground. And I'd like my top arm to also stay on the ground. I'm going to reach it in front of me, past my bottom arm, twisting my chest toward the floor. Now I reach that arm on the ground, up overhead. Once it gets over my head, I twist my body. Twist your body so much that that arm stays on the ground all the time. It's gone behind me. Then it flops over my body and gets in front of me, and it continues on its path. When I change sides, I'm going to turn around, and you'll be able to see what the back of this motion looks like. But basically, I just keep my hand on the ground. Let the shoulder go up, reach up. As I reach overhead, the shoulder goes up. I twist my body as much as I need to for my arm to be going around on the floor. I want my arm on the ground so it has support to stretch. I'm going to go the other way now. Back behind myself, twisting my body so my hand's on the floor. Twisting back to reach in front of that resting arm. Now, for some people, the shoulder might be so tight, you're like, I don't think so. I don't think that my arm wants to go all the way around. In that case, what you can do is just play with the range of motion that feels good and just toggle back and forth. You just go only as far as you want, and then you come back. So that's always an option. You can always make something smaller and limit the range if the full range of motion feels like too much. Now I will roll my back to you, and we're going to change sides. So you roll onto your other side, and now you reach your top arm in front of your bottom arm, slide it along the ground, the body twists, my hands on the ground, it sweeps around, dragging on the floor. Sweeps over my hip, and it drags around. You want to imagine if you were in sand, that you would be making a big circle around yourself. Trying to see, could you get the circle a little bigger and a little bigger each time. And then reverse the circle, go back, and then up over yourself. Back around, up and over. And one or two more. You can kind of go, I don't know, 3 to 5 times around in each direction with each arm, and then roll onto your back. And then go ahead and let yourself relax on your back. Have a moment to rest. And then we will be flipping over onto our stomach. So that exercise, arm circles on the floor, those are opening up our shoulder joint, our upper back mobility. Now we're going to do some strength for our upper back. This is called the swan. Now, if you have feet that cramp, roll up a towel and just put it right under the top of your foot. And then your little feet have a prop and they can rest and not cramp. Because you don't want to worry about feet cramps while you're doing this. So you can have a rolled up towel to put under your forehead. If you don't feel comfortable, your nose is going to be smashed on the floor, but you're not going to be there long. But if it doesn't feel good to your neck to be flat, like so, just roll up a little bit of a towel so you have a little prop, and then your nose won't be as smashed. But you're going to start off lying flat.
Legs are relaxed, butt is relaxed, feet are relaxed, either they're propped up or they're flat. Arms are back by your side. Now what I want to do is extend, arch my upper back. I want to start lifting my head by looking toward the end of my mat. My hands will hover out. I try to move through the sequence of the spine, so I'm arching the upper back between my shoulder blades. What I do not want to do is look at the wall in front of me and collapse the back of my neck shut like a Pez dispenser. Don't let your eyes and your chin look to the wall in front of you. Your eyes should look on the floor. Your chin should be facing the floor, not the wall in front of you. And then we're going to go back. Let's do this a few times. This is one of those ones, maybe you're going to do 4 to 6, no more than that. Breathe in, breathe out. Let your eyes start the movement. They look forward and then they lead your spine up. Try to lift your breastbone, your sternum. You don't need to really pull your shoulders down and squeeze tight. Again, it's movement. Try to bend those vertebrae up. Now the butt might want to clench, the legs might want to pop up. Try to send your belly out of the floor. And then don't lift so high that you feel your butt or your lower back overpowering the movement. This is going to work, but we don't want it to be the primary part. We want to feel that space between our shoulder blades. So I'm literally trying to bend one vertebrae at a time, reaching my fingertips back, keeping my arm energized, but I want to have the sense that my armpits have space and I don't want to clamp my arms into my body. There's a freedom under my shoulders because I want to get movement. Movement of my upper back requires some space in my joints. One last time, send your pubic bone to the ground and then lift your eyes, your nose, your chest, not your chin. Drop that chin down and reach with the top of your head instead of looking at the wall in front of you. Let the top of your head try to reach out. And then after we do the swan, we always want to round. Just like yoga, whenever you arch your back, you need to round it afterwards to create space through the spine again. So this is child's pose. Your arms can do any number of positions. I really don't care which one you pick. Pick one that feels good to you. And if child's pose doesn't feel good to you, all you're going to do instead is flip onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. Because we just want to round, and this is a rounding of our back to do it here. Either way is fine. And give yourself one more moment, giving that lower back some space. And then go ahead and let your legs rest again. Now, give yourself a chance to just settle in to the floor. Let your legs be comfortable. They can go flat, they can stay bent, whatever you want. We're just going to finish with a couple of breaths. Try to expand that chest and upper back through some breathing. So go ahead and just gently inhale through your nose, breathe a breath, and exhale through your mouth. Inhaling into your belly first. Feeling your belly expand, then your diaphragm, then your ribs, then your chest. Exhale, empty your chest, then your ribs, then your diaphragm, then your belly. Take a couple more breaths like that, breathing from the bottom of your torso, filling the bottom through the middle up to the top, and then emptying the top, emptying the middle, emptying the bottom. And just take one more breath like that. Inhale, filling up the belly. It's like the air is pouring into your torso, like water pouring into a glass from the bottom to the top. Inhaling.
Exhaling from the top to the bottom. Great. Now we're going to shift focus and imagine breathing in the sternum, the breastbone. So as you inhale, imagine your sternum going both up and down, opening the space between the front of the chest and the back of the spine. Inhaling. Exhaling, feel it collapsing, closing, sinking, releasing. And take 2 more like that. Imagine if you could just inhale your chest both up to the ceiling and down through the floor. And exhale, they just draw back together. And just one last time like so, inhaling the chest both up to the ceiling, down to the floor. And then exhaling it back to relax. Great. And one last kind of breath. Imagine your rib cage now have become an accordion. Inhale, sending the ribs wide, side to side. And exhale, let that accordion close, drawing them back together. And take 2 more like so. Exhale, letting the ribs just draw back together. And the last one. Inhaling, expanding wide, without forcing, without pressurizing it to the point of discomfort. Exhaling, letting it collapse and soften back to a resting. And then just take 3 more normal breaths, like a normal human breathes. No pressure to make a long breath or a deep breath or a special breath, just any old breath is fine. And then allow yourself to just melt into the ground for 1 more moment. Great, now you can stay resting as long as you want to. And when you choose to get up, rather than sitting up using your neck, roll onto your side. Keep your head and neck heavy. Use your hands and your arms to push your head and shoulders out of the ground. That's a better way to get up and down, because then our neck doesn't get stressed by just getting up out of bed off the floor. So those breaths you can do lying down, you can do sitting up, you can do walking around. Experiment, try them all different ways and see how it feels good. And these kind of guided breathings are just there to give our body some space and some awareness of what parts maybe are tight, where we're not breathing fully. So don't feel like you need to make a big movement that someone could see. It's just for you to feel where you're tight, where your breath could maybe learn to move more. But never make breath exercises so extreme that they're uncomfortable, because if you're trying to learn to breathe to create more space so you can be more relaxed, if you're tensing up around those breath exercises, you kind of are maybe pushing harder than you need to. So just think of them being easy. And as you practice them, you might find, oh, I'm getting so much more movement without even trying. All right, so that was neck, shoulders, upper back. So I will be doing more of these more frequently. If you would like to do a session one-on-one, I'm available through Zoom, FaceTime, any number of online platforms where we can video chat. We can do that. I'm also available in the studio in person to work on the equipment. Also, there's a third option where you can be in the studio space and I am teaching you remotely, so we don't have to expose each other to our COVID droplets at all, but you can still experience the equipment. So any of those 3 options are available to any of you. If you're part of the VIDA membership program, you can reach me on Slack, or anyone can reach me. My website is solarajean.com. SOLARAJEAN.com, or it's solarajean@gmail.com if you want to email me. All right, I hope you enjoyed this class and that you found it helpful. And next time we'll work on something else. And I will see you soon.